AI-enhanced images are reshaping perceptions of the Middle East war, blending real events with subtle distortions as experts now caution about the impact of disinformation. Let's bring in Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Great to see you. It is becoming harder and harder, particularly with X, to know what is real and what is fake.
Absolutely. And it's not only AI-generated video, but AI can now alter existing video to make changes to it. So even though the original was true and depict a true event, it can be manipulated to make it look like something else happened. And so I think that's the biggest worry.
Yeah, it is fascinating to watch, obviously. As a newsroom, we are watching these images come through, and sometimes I'm not going to say too good to be true because they're not good images, but hard to think they're not true, but hard to believe that they are at the same time, because in a war, so much can happen, and therefore you really have to sit back and ask yourself, what's my gut instinct here? But even that isn't always right.
100%. So an example came out just recently where it looked like US radar equipment had been destroyed, but it was really a visual from a while ago that it had been altered to make it look like it was satellite footage and it wasn't even real. And this was spread all over the internet and on news channels as well, and it wasn't actually accurate footage. So it's a real worry just to see, like, how can you verify and how can you actually make sure that it is true what you're putting out there?
That is a great point, particularly when you ask about how you can verify and how you can work it out if it's true. The whole concept, we are told from X and from Elon Musk, is that you can ask Grok whether or not it is true. I want to bring you up an image that I saw today when I was putting the news together for Ticker Today, and I can't decide whether or not this is real or not. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying I'm not saying that this is real because I don't know, but this is an image that is being put up that because the Ayatollah, the new Ayatollah, supreme leader, has been injured in the recent attacks after being announced as a supreme leader, that as they were announcing to Iranians, here is the new Ayatollah, they didn't have him, so they brought out a cardboard version with a printed face. And across X, this is doing the rounds. And when you ask Grok, is this fake or not, it doesn't know. What are your thoughts on a situation like this?
I don't think it's true. Would they really do that? And this guy shuns public life anyway, so would they really expect him to front, and would they really use a cardboard cutout and one that bad as well?
But would they? This is the question that goes through your mind, right? You look at it and you think, in a situation like this, it's a unique situation, it could be true. And surely that little bit of doubt in your mind is what the problem is here.
Yeah, absolutely. You do not know 100% what is true and what is not. And with AI technology, it's getting much harder to deal with. And in newsrooms, you must know yourself, the news has to be fast. Like, you have to get it out quickly. So how do you spend the time really analysing what is true and what is fake before you put it out? And I can see why journalists may be tempted just to go with it because they'll miss the story. They'll miss the headline if they don't move quickly. But what are your thoughts on that? How do you...
Yeah, it's a great question. Something that, look, in many respects, this has always been around. It's just in a different form. Yes. I think through my career where people would send through home video that they might have shot or things on their phone that you think to yourself, oh, I'm not sure whether that is real. There's a famous company in Melbourne that makes social media footage that got on the news, but it was fake. It was essentially at the beginning of an AFL season, I'm going to say maybe 5 to 10 years ago. Everyone has seen it. It's a barbecue on the Yarra River and a hawk comes and drops a snake onto the barbecue and everyone runs. And it made the news. Look at this shocking thing that happened. And eventually, a couple of days later, out comes this company saying, this was our launch of the Hawthorn AFL football season, and we got it on the news, and thanks so much, we got paid for this. And that distortion where, as journalists, you don't even know, this has been going on for quite some time, and obviously a war where it's all about the propaganda message, who's winning the PR, it's going to be even harder, and therein lies that point that everyone can fake it if they want to.
Yes, and the volume and the speed at which it's happening is going to be very difficult to navigate as well. And even the footage of Iran's new leader, because he's never actually given a public speech before, and so any footage or video that you see of that is not actually true, because they've just used images and animated those to make it look like that's what he's doing. So it's, and I've seen that all over news channels as well.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch. All right, now a new study reveals that AI technology like that behind ChatGPT could actually help hackers to de-anonymize social media accounts, raising urgent questions about online privacy and surveillance. I love when I get a new word that I haven't said before. Talk to us about what specific AI technologies are being used by hackers to de-anonymize social media accounts.
They're using AI agents to go off and trawl the internet for clues and for bits of information that could actually build that profile on that person to show the information about them that they thought was private. So that's the thing. Like in the past, it would take weeks really to go and try and search the internet and find these bits of information scattered throughout through other people's images, through their activity online in other ways. And now it just takes 10 minutes really to actually do that. Even if your social media profile is locked down, this technology is actually finding information in other ways to build this profile on you to then try and either hack in or pose as someone that you would be expecting to hear from with a particular request to click on a link or whatever it may be that will then get into your personal information on your computer. So it's just because your information's locked down, it doesn't mean that it is safe. And you've got to make sure that really what it's saying is that any interaction online is open to this sort of attack. So I don't know what you want us to do, just don't go online. It's really hard to protect yourself.
Walk across the road and get hit by a car. It's one of those things where you have to do these things. So what are they suggesting for enhancing online privacy, have they said?
Just to be very mindful about the information that you're putting out there in terms of your address and your phone number and your photo and all those sorts of things, just to be extra mindful.
Putting out where though exactly? I get asked that all the time when I'm signing up to something or having a parcel delivered, and you often think in the back of your mind, I don't know who's behind this website. I could be buying something from the Russian government for all I know. There's an element of trust that we have when we purchase things, but we don't know where that information's going.
You don't. And I think that's the thing, we've become so reliant on digital technology that it's coming back to bite us now, because we've been putting out so much information that before I think maybe there wasn't the technology to bring all that stuff together to attack us in this way. But now with AI agents particularly, like it's so easy for them to just go off and do a search on someone and bring it back. We've always had online scammers, but this has taken it to a new level.
Gosh, do you remember that 90s film with Sandra Bullock called The Net, where essentially she wakes up on a beach and some guy has stolen her identity and she's this whole other person and she's trying to, the whole film is about her getting her identity back. We're now literally living that in real life.
Yeah, at a much larger scale, and it can happen much faster too. So yes.
Yeah. And talk to us about how the errors in linking accounts can affect individuals, because when this happens to someone, it can be pretty devastating.
So it's the linking of accounts, it's using the same email address for multiple accounts, it's using the same password for multiple accounts. Don't do that whatever you do. And it's really being proactive and thinking about how secure your information is online and your activities. There are tools out there to help you, passwords and password protection and things like that. So it's really worth looking into that and not being blasé, because we're not just dealing with humans anymore, we're dealing with AI agents that are much more thorough in their search to bring this information back to them.
All right, Dr. Karen Sutherland, always appreciate your insights here on Ticker. Thank